What's up, guys? Welcome to the first Fan Film Friday of the new year. On this episode, I'll be taking a look at Jason Rising by Red Crow Films. It's a pretty awesome Jason film. However, they don't have a YouTube channel per se, but I can leave a link in the description, so you can check it out. Anyway, so the film starts off with Jason lying in the woods, presumably dead, while the narrator sums up the first 4 Friday movies. Then, a while later, we're introduced to a group of deputies arriving at Jason's grave to dig it up. They don't really specify why, really, but I thought they may be just checking to see if Jason was dead. But instead, they just lock the casket up even more so. And yeah, now you've done it. So we get an opening title sequence, and then we meet Sheriff Daltrey, visiting his father's grave, who was the previous sheriff of the town. And I guess he's the guy from the opening. He gets a call from a deputy named Glover saying that he's needed at a nearby corrections farm. Glover seems alright, but she sucks at using all the 10 codes, and she's not a very good deputy from what it looks like. So he arrives at the farm and is greeted by some U.S. Marshals who are investigating a murder. They find out that the murderers are a group of escaped ex-cons who escaped into the woods. Oh, well, you don't have to worry about that. Jason's got it. One of the girls texts her sister, who's already out looking for her. Do these people, not know where they're at? What the fuck? The girls decide to hide out in a cabin and, yep, Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah, don't worry, you're safe. And then the main con explains Jason's origin story yet again. Here's where I get confused. So then Pamela starts coming out of the ground like she's in a fucking Romero zombie movie. And Pamela's headless corpse kills the con's sister and then pulls Jason's casket out of the ground. Okay, alright, what's happening here, really? So the con finds her sister, but it's too late. Jason is back. And I guess the first thing she thinks to do is to trap herself on a boat in the middle of the lake. Yeah, good thinking. The sheriff and marshal show up at the camp and assume that the girls are hiding out there. Oh shit! Daltrey and Glover are searching the area, and I really don't think Glover needs to be a deputy. Like I said, she kind of sucks at it. And then Jason starts hearing his mother's decapitated head talk, telling him that he's done well. Jason, it's Mommy! I swear though, if she puts her head back on and walks around, I'm gonna fucking lose it. So the other 2 convicts are running around the woods, certain that the other one left them behind, when Jason makes quick work of them. The group finds the bodies, and then Pamela attacks the marshals. Jesus Christ. One of them, Bear, runs out of bullets and tries to fight Jason in fisticuffs. That doesn't go so well, because Jason does a fucking fatality on him, Mortal Kombat style. The other marshal doesn't really take as long, and then things move pretty quickly from here. So Jason wounds Daltrey and then attacks Glover in a final battle. They play cat and mouse for quite a bit, and then it cuts to a random chick painting, who hears Glover call for help on a police radio, and then she runs out to help. Jason runs after Glover and Daltrey with a chainsaw, and then Glover ends up impaling him with it. Is it over? Yeah, I don't think so. We get more weird Pamela shit, and then they head back to the station, where of course, the power goes out. One of the aloof deputies opens the door to investigate, and immediately gets killed with a chainsaw. Oh, but not by Jason. By Pamela. Yes, Pamela. Now with her fucking head attached. I knew this shit was gonna happen. And they're almost overpowered when the random painter shows up and decapitates Pamela for a second time. And guess who it is? Alice, the original Friday final girl. So Jason shows up and Alice kicks his ass pretty much effortlessly, jamming a screwdriver into his head. She tells them who she is before driving away with Pamela's head in a bag. So after all this, the sheriff locks Jason's body back up in his casket and pushes it out into the lake. Meanwhile, Alice is examining the head and gets a call from Dr. Jenny Field, another final girl. And then she locks the head away. The end. Oh, and I can't forget, there's a short mid-credit scene of Jason coming back. Like we didn't see that shit coming. So, Honestly, I actually liked it. The parts with the headless Pamela were weird and unnecessary, but overall, the plot was good and the effects were great. Not to mention, somehow they got Adrian King to do a cameo, so that's something. If you guys haven't seen it already, check the link in the description below and check it out for yourself. This has been Fan Film Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and of course I'll see you on the next one. What's up, everyone? Today on Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at Halloween Night by ThunderKnock Studios. They do a lot of Michael Myers stuff and some other short films as well, so head on over to their YouTube page and check them out. And while you're there, give them a like and don't forget to subscribe. So, this one takes place some years after the 1978 film, with a scarred Haddonfield trying to leave that fateful night in the past. We start off on Halloween night, of course, with some people doing what looks like inventory at a warehouse. This guy is wearing a jumpsuit, and you know his ass is probably gonna die first. I mean, how else does Michael shop for his clothes? Oh, never mind. It'll definitely be this asshole for sure. He starts talking about a Halloween party at some girl Christina's house, happening later that night. But no one seems to want to go. This guy wants to be with his wife instead, a concept the party guy here just doesn't understand. Then, we jump to a bunch of kids at a rave. Oh, wait a minute. They're just trick-or-treating. But why all the glow sticks? Suddenly, two of the kids bump into the old shape. This guy's at home working on his car when Michael shows up and... yeah, that. Obviously, they don't lock their doors in this town anymore, because Michael just walks right in and Josie and the Pussycat here shares the same fate. Some little girl stops and asks for candy, and Michael just gives like 0 fucks. After that, a family walks up to the door trick-or-treating and finds Josie sprawled out dead. And opening credits. After that, we backtrack minutes earlier. A girl named Samantha is doing yoga when she gets a call for an audition of some type. I think it was something to do with music. She calls her friend Tracy, who turns out to be the Josie chick, and asks her to come over to help practice for her audition. But I guess she's stuck going to that Halloween party we all know she'll never make it to. And then Sam calls Nancy, who's busy babysitting. Uh-oh, we know what happens to babysitters in this series, don't we? Sam then calls the guy in the warehouse from the beginning, who I guess is her boyfriend or something. They reveal that Sam's last name is Loomis, and that Dr. Loomis is actually her grandpa. Interesting. Cut to these assholes dressed as the Karate Kid, who are just begging to be killed. Don't worry, Michael's got this shit. As one of them is taking a quick piss, the Ralph Macchio wannabe spots Michael down the street just creeping. And suddenly, he takes them all out. Meanwhile, Sam finds an old file on her grandpa, pertaining to Michael. Of course, the douchey guy from the warehouse is smoking and jamming out the Blue Oyster Cult. Great song choice, by the way. When Michael shows up and slaughters the guy. Yes, all according to plan. And then, he goes after his girlfriend, who just really exaggerates everything. She kind of reminds me of frickin' Shannon Elizabeth in Scary Movie. She literally even bicycle kicks at him. Sam's been busy the whole time reading up on Michael, and then there's a montage of her preparing to fight him. So I guess she just assumes that he's in town and gonna take it upon herself to kill him. I don't know. She comes home to find him lingering outside, and then the final battle ensues. So after all that training, the first thing she decides to do is drop to the floor and crawl around. Great strategy. And then she stabs him in the dick. The old dick twist! Grab his dick and twist it! After that, it becomes a game of chase, and she just starts panicking and running around. So, what happened to that shooting montage? Sam then hides in a crawl space under the stairs, where the shape nearly slashes her. Just then, the boyfriend shows up, and uneventfully rams the door with no result. Yeah, good effort, buddy. He finally gets in, just to almost get killed by Michael, but he drops him and goes after Sam instead. She's just about to get stabbed when the boyfriend shows up and shoots Michael 6 times. He shot him! He shot him 6 times! And then he gets back up. Shocker. Sam then shoots him some more times, and he somehow phases through the balcony on the second floor and falls to the ground. As the couple leave the house, the camera pans over to reveal a sale sign on the ground, with Lindsay Wallace as the realtor. The end. Well, it had some questionable parts, that's for sure, especially Sam's choice of fighting style. But overall, the film was great. The costumes and effects were done really well. And the plot was pretty good. And I will say that the kills in the film were creative. If you guys haven't seen this yet, head on over to ThunderKnox Studios' YouTube page and check it out for yourself. Alright guys, that does it for another episode of Fan Film Friday. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more content. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. What's up guys? Welcome to another Fan Film Friday. Today, I'll be checking out Camp Forest Green by All Rise Films. If you haven't already, head on over to their YouTube channel and check them out. They do a lot of other short films featuring Michael and Ghostface as well. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. So the film starts off with a guy in a cabin who calls 911 in regard to someone lurking outside. Just then, the power gets cut off and the call gets disconnected. A brief little title drop, and then we join a group of teens headed to Holloway Haven, a cabin near the lake. After they party it up and smoke a bunch of weed, a couple of guys go out for firewood with one holding the chainsaw like an asshole. And then, these two are just showing too much damn affection, and hopefully they get taken out first. So the group decides to go swimming while the redneck guy stays behind to fix the power. Aha! He's our first victim. Go on, do a flip, bro! Wow, so cool. So a bit later on, they're partying again, this time around a campfire, and yet no one has died. One of the kids realized that the area they're near is Camp Crystal Lake, which is also known as Camp Blood. And then, of course, they're playing Flip Cup. Damn, they're just living the life. I forgot Jason was even in this fucking movie. This guy, CJ, basically gloats about fucking this dude's sister, and then gets punched in the mouth. Good. He looks like a douche anyway. These two are laughing and carrying on. Ha 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 ha, dead. Yes, finally. The stoner guy runs into the woods, panicking, and stumbles upon a sketchy-ass shack. Oh, and guess who lives there? Darren, another guy, goes looking for him, and gets a little too close for comfort. Yep, got taken out Hawkeye style. This guy tries to take on Jason with a chainsaw, and guess who wins that one? Not him. And then, there were 4. Alright, well, I take it back. I guess there's 6. After these two lovebirds are done doing the do, he goes out to the kitchen jamming out to whatever the hell band he's listening to. Meanwhile, Jason's having a handicap match in the background, WWE style. He makes quick work of the douchebag before turning his attention on the ladies' man here. The last survivors, the brother and sister duo, douse the whole perimeter of the lake in gasoline and attempt to escape on boat. And Jason presumably kills them. The post-credit scene is the sister floating on the lake in a boat, just like Alice did in the original movie. And there's Jason. The end. Well, I think the plot was pretty good. I mean, a group of teens head to Holloway Haven, which was a play off of Higgins Haven from Part 3, and systematically get picked off. You have the stoner, the annoying sex-crave couple, and the brother-sister combo. Jason did look good in the film. I only wish he was featured in the first half of the damn thing. But overall, it was alright. Okay guys, if you want to see this one for yourself, head on over to All Rise Films' YouTube page and check them out. And that does it for this episode of Fan Film Friday. If you guys like the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll of course see you on the next one. What's up everybody? On this episode of Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at the Haddonfield Nightmare by Bat Productions. If you don't know them, head on over to their YouTube channel and check out their other content. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. This one has some serious ties to H2O, so let's get started. The film starts off at Smith's Grove Sanitarium in 1998, a couple days after the events of Halloween H2O. These two marshals, or whatever they are picking up Michael like they're supposed to be transporting him to a different facility. One guy, who apparently is the brother of Nurse Marion, threatens to kill him, saying that he'll just escape and kill again if he doesn't. Which is pretty much true. And, as to be expected, Michael kills them both and escapes. Oh, no way! We get opening credits, and then the time jumps to modern day in Haddonfield. This kid is running to class because he's late and catches the attention of the professor, who isn't too happy about it. And it turns out he teaches a class about Michael Myers, from what it sounds like. And the school was actually started by Dr. Loomis. Maybe it's an institute about serial killers or psychopaths or something, but honestly, it literally looks like Dr. Loomis dedicated a whole school to people learning and studying Michael, which wouldn't surprise me. Oh, Dr. Tate, huh? Is this seriously John Tate? Alright. I guess he's a doctor now. Anyway, so he explains the whole story of Halloween parts 1 and 2, ending with Michael dying in the hospital fire and Laurie dying in a car accident not too long after. The students question the whole logic of Michael actually dying. One student even brings up what happens in H2O with Michael showing up at John's school. But he quickly throws it away, saying that they killed the wrong person and that Michael's been dead since '78 pretty much. I don't think the class knows that their professor is actually John Tate from that story. Anyway, the girl in the middle here is John's daughter, Lauren. Back at home, she tells him that he almost blew his cover in class, when he got distracted over the class mentioning Laurie. So as I said before, I suppose he doesn't want anybody to know that he's Laurie's son, or that Laurie isn't really dead, or that H2O even truly happened for that matter. I guess he's trying to forget about everything. So then Lauren goes to a local brewery with her friends, where this greaser asshole hates on the whole menu. Ooh, I hope this guy fucking dies first. A bit later on, these two are driving to go check out the long-abandoned Smith's Grove Sanitarium and do a little B&E to get inside. Yeah, this'll end very well. The chick claims to have seen someone lurking in the shadows. Guess who? And she's dead. Then the guy gets a steel bar through the chest. I'm not sure what's going on with Michael's mask here, though. It looks burnt or crusty or just really old. Anyway, back at the school, John's about to leave when he bumps into another professor named Jen. She's clearly DTF and wants to hang out with him later that night. But he's like, nah bruh, I'm good. Meanwhile at the brewery, a cop is drinking on the job when he gets called to a house with a suspicious car outside. As it turns out, it's Jen who made the call, who clearly isn't over John turning her down, because it's all she's talking about. She finds the door wide open, and good old Michael just makes himself right at home. Then, not too long after, John gets lonely and decides to give Jen a call after all. But yeah, she's dead. The cops arrive and find Jen's body in a trail of footsteps leading away from the house. The cops then visit John and tell him about Jen's murder, to which he goes down the rabbit hole and starts thinking Michael has returned. Well yeah, rightfully so. He tries to convince the sheriff that Michael's back, and they're extremely skeptical. But just then, more bodies start piling up, and they agree to hunt Michael down. One of the girls from earlier is handing out candy when Michael just blatantly walks out from behind a tree. She goes inside and doesn't even seem to lock the door behind her. So, what happens next? Well, he follows her inside. But yeah, it's not Michael, it's her stupid boyfriend. She scolds him for it, saying it's not appropriate to wear that costume on Halloween, and he's just like, "What do you mean, bro?" Then, the real Michael shows up to show him how it's done. Wow, she just got stabbed in the back and got right up and walked away. I think she's in the running to be the next Michael. And why would you run upstairs and corner yourself? The rest of the group's waiting outside to pick the two up, and the asshole guy walks in and drinks up all their beer. What a douche. Just as Lauren and the other friend are about to go in to check on them, John calls her and says not to, and tells her to wait. Meanwhile, the cops head over there too. Oh, here it is, the showdown. As to be expected, the girls go inside anyway and meet Michael face to face. Miraculously, the girls get out and drive away, meeting up with the cops back at John's house. And then, as this is going on, John heads to the murder scene to confront Michael head on. He beats him with a stick and throws him in the back of his car. Uh-oh, John's taking a page out of Laurie's playbook. When the cops try to call him, he tells them that he's taking Michael out of town. And the fact that Michael doesn't just spring up in the backseat and kill him on the drive there is surprising. Anyway, so he takes him back to Smith's Grove. And just as Michael's about to kill John, the cops and Lauren show up. Michael switches and goes after Lauren, with John trying to stop him. But he just gets FIFA'd in the face. Yes, I said FIFA'd. It's a term. Deal with it. Lauren whacks Michael in the head, and then in comes the sheriff, pulling a Julius from Friday Part 8. Oh no, not the sheriff, too. The other cop walks in and shoots Michael, while John directly quotes Jamie Lee from H2O, telling Lauren to go outside and call for backup. Then the one cop walks over to Michael's body to check for a pulse, and surprise, he gets killed. Well, maybe. John and Michael engage in a fight, and John beats Michael down with a crowbar. When it's apparently over, one of the cops somehow survives and leaves with John, as Michael's hand twitches. The end. Well, guys, that was awesome. They did a very good job with this. I like the tie-in with H2O and how they brought back John Tate. I wish they'd do that in the theatrical films. Anyway, I loved Lauren, but her friends sucked though. And the way it ended in Smith's Grove was pretty cool. A really good full circle moment. However, I knew he wasn't going to actually die in the end. He never does. Because you can't kill the boogeyman, right? Well, I think they should definitely make a sequel, and if you do, hey, I'm available. Anyway, if you guys want to check this out for yourself, head on over to their YouTube channel, and make sure you check out all their other content too. Alrighty then, this has been Fan Film Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more stuff. And I'll see you next time. Alright, so today, for On the Set, since it's Friday the 13th, I'm going to be doing my own movie, Friday the 13th, Part 11, Jason's Revenge. This one's from back in 2000, well, I would say 2003. Back before Chris Hollywood Productions, I had a company called Chris Kid Films, and then my buddy Joey had a production company called Shithead Productions. So we kind of worked together to make this Jason movie. Basically the premise is I play myself, and my family goes on this camping trip out to the woods, where they ceremoniously get picked off one by Jason. The plot at the time wasn't really elaborate. I mean, I was like a 13-year-old kid or something making this movie with my buddy, just on a camping weekend that we had. And yes, the kills were, well, I mean, they were something, right? I had this kind of makeshift machete that was actually a ninja katana that I converted into a machete. I mean, hey, you know, like I said, I wasn't like quite to the status that I am now as far as effects go. Anyway, so I go to the woods and I'm walking around and I run into this guy played by Joey who's kind of like a crazy Ralph, and he tells me the legend of Jason and that he's still around, lurking around the woods, which I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, you crazy asshole. And so I go wandering off, and then who starts following me around? Well, I guess you can pretty much assume who it is. Eventually, he makes himself known and kind of comes after me, where he starts picking off my family members one by one. I go down to the lake where I have an altercation with Jason, where he stabs me. I wake up the next day thinking the whole thing was a dream, only to find blood on myself, realizing that it wasn't. And then suddenly, here he is again. We have another fight, which leads back down to the lake, where I end up football tackling him into the lake somehow. And yeah, he just kind of like floats to the bottom, I guess. And then it ends with a cliffhanger of Freddy pulling his mask out of the water, leading up to Freddy vs. Jason. Because at that time, Freddy vs. Jason had just come out in theaters, and we wanted to make our own version of that. So yeah, there it is. Like I said, it wasn't crazy elaborate. It was just like a short film we made back in the day. And yeah, I just wanted to pay homage to Jason on Friday the 13th. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want to see the actual movie, it's on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description below, so you guys can check it out. Alright, have a happy Friday the 13th. Well, hello. Today, for Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at Return of the Sandman by SOUTHLAN Films. This film serves as a prequel to Revenge of the Sandman, a film I reviewed last year. Well, technically, it came out first, but I reviewed them backwards, so sorry guys. Anyway, if you haven't checked them out already, head on over to SOUTHLAN Films' YouTube page and check out their other content. While you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. The film opens up with Loomis shooting Michael and him falling off the balcony at the end of the 1978 film. He promptly gets up and walks away. He heads back to the Myers house where he passes out and gets captured by the police. We get opening credits, and then we time jump to Smith's Grove in 2003. Michael's getting ready to be transported to another facility, and Loomis shows up to make sure he's ready to go. But actually, he's there to kill Michael once and for all. So how does that go? Well, not good. He easily escapes and even gets a new jumpsuit out of the whole deal. And then he goes to a local costume shop and gets a brand new mask without the guy behind the desk even noticing. Back at Smith's Grove, Loomis is explaining that Michael escaped and is probably headed to Haddonfield. Oh, and then we find out this isn't Loomis, it's his brother, apparently. After that, we're introduced to Christy, which is this film's babysitter, I guess. And this is the kid she'll be babysitting later on. Then we meet this chick Lindsay and her boyfriend. They want to go to a party, but she's stuck watching her younger sister. So they pull a Halloween 1, and she plans to pawn the kid off on Christy, because the party's happening literally right across the street. Randomly, Michael shows up at a blind guy's house and stabs him. Why? Well, why not? The little kid is at school talking to some girl who has zero interest in him. He tells her he got a silver shamrock mask and then he's watching the giveaway later on. Well, we know what's going to happen to him. Christy befriends this guy named Will who plans to hang with her while she's babysitting, much to the dismay of this thirsty chick who's been following him around for the past few scenes. Christy returns home. Oh, and did I mention she lives in the Myers house? Well, Michael doesn't seem to appreciate that very much. We then get the obligatory shot of her walking down the sidewalk holding a pumpkin, and then the festivities begin. As to be expected, Lindsay dumps her little sister off on Christy, which she's actually okay with. Oh, and look who it is, that chick he was trying to mac on at school. Later on, they're at the house when the little kid sees Michael outside and freaks the fuck out. Much like the original film. Christy, though, just shrugs it off. Lindsay's boyfriend's walking by and sees Will walk into a dark-ass garage. Only, that's not Will, obviously. So what's the guy do? He follows him in there. Damn! Falcon Punch! And then, Michael decides to cosplay as Pennywise. Meanwhile, at the Hoppin' Halloween party, everyone leaves and Pennywise decides to make an appearance. Lindsay has no idea that this is Michael and still thinks that's her boyfriend, so she tries to fuck him, basically. Back at the house, Will shows up and asks the kids if they're watching the Silver Shamrock giveaway, and they're like, yeah, fuck you, man. And they pretty much give like zero fucks that he's even there. Back at the party, as Lindsay gets ready for some beep boop, Michael slips away and snaps some necks. Then, the kids are watching the big giveaway by Silver Shamrock when lightning strikes, knocking out the power, just before the mask turns the kid's head into bugs. Huh, dodged that bullet. Anyway, so then the kid who threw the party across the street leaves to get more beer, and yeah, he gets forked. With the power out, Will decides to leave Christy all by herself. Yeah, good move, bro. We meet back up with Loomis's brother and the chief, who are driving around aimlessly looking for Michael. Well, guess what? He's not too far away. Having survived a stab attack by Michael, Will shows up and advises Christy and the kids to get out of the house, and the chase begins. You'll never guess where Christy goes to hide. Yep, that's right. Somehow, she gets away and decides to try her luck as a human slinky down the stairs. Suddenly, out on the road, the kids run into Loomis's brother and the chief, and they go to the house. Michael makes quick work of the chief, and Loomis's brother tries to reason with him. And then it ends in a cliffhanger with them attacking each other. And yeah, the end. So, what did I think of it all? Well, the plot was pretty good. I mean, it seemed like it was heavily inspired by the original film. I like how Loomis's brother was still in there doing the Loomis thing. And yeah, Michael looked pretty good. They had a decent mask. The kills were okay. I mean, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more blood, but aside from that, I liked it. If you guys haven't already, head on over to Southland Films' YouTube channel and check them out. And that does it for this episode of Fan Film Friday. If you like the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. What's up, guys? Back with another Fan Film Friday. Today, I'm taking a look at Friday the 13th Roseblood, a fan film by Peter Anthony Productions. This one continues the events of Friday Part 7, where Jason fought Tina. If you haven't seen any of his content, head on over to his channel. He does a lot of other horror stuff, and it's pretty awesome, so definitely check him out. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. So let's get into it. The film starts off with Jason at the bottom of the lake with a voiceover saying that he can't be stopped, pretty much. We get brief opening credits, and then we see Tina in a mental hospital, played by Lar Park Lincoln, who played her originally. She's with Dr. Cruz, played by Terry Kaiser yet again. But didn't he die? Anyway, they're in the middle of a session, and oh yeah, Dr. Cruz says that he's in her head, so I guess she's just imagining him. But then why did he age? That's just weird. So we go to a flashback around the time of Part 7, where Tina's at a facility in Crystal Lake talking with a doctor. He does a few tests on her, and then she asks when she can go home, to which he just gets up and walks away. Oh, savage. Then we see Creighton Duke. Yep, the bounty hunter from Jason Goes to Hell. The doctor is telling him how Tina's getting stronger, and Duke tells him that he made this DMT stuff out of some mushrooms, and they plan on using it on Tina in a new experiment called Project Manifest. I guess they plan on making her hallucinate to make her power stronger. They're doing some kind of Stranger Things type shit. So then, the scientists hold a meeting with the military to discuss a plan of action, when all of a sudden, the general calls and says he's just arrived. Then, out of nowhere, this Black Ops team walks in with this other goth-looking girl. The general tells the colonel that he's putting him back on the Black Ops team to go after someone. I guess he used to be the leader of it or something. And who are they going after exactly? Well, I guess it's kind of obvious. So then, the doctor takes the general to meet Duke, and he does the same old, "your wife ain't had a taste of the Duke yet" thing that he normally does. And yeah, the general didn't appreciate that. Then the colonel takes Tina to meet his Black Ops team, called FAST. It's an abbreviation for something, but I don't remember. Apparently, they were brought there to hunt Jason, like we all assumed. So then, Tina goes to visit Rose, the girl that the Black Ops team brought in. Apparently she's got telekinesis as well, and might be even stronger than Tina. All of a sudden, they start calling each other sisters, and they're confiding in each other. I'm not sure how much time they spend together, but it's just weird. Anyway, a bit later on, they're playing a game in the rec room when the general walks in. Rose uses her power to smash a glass into the general's face. Then for some reason, he goes like full villain with an eye patch and everything. They drag Rose to a room to give her the DMT, and everyone is pretty much killed right away. So yeah, she's like an 11, more or less. Julian, one of the janitors, tells Duke that he should save the girls and get them out of there, but he's not really about that. Meanwhile, the Black Ops team's busy just doing bullshit and playing card games. I guess it's one where the loser has to swallow a bullet. What? What kind of crazy shit is that? Is this what they do for fun? So Duke attempts to rescue Tina, and they get caught by the colonel. As Duke gets locked up, Tina and Rose get hooked to a machine to start the next phase in the experiment. The scientists shock Tina with electricity, and somehow it causes her to release Jason from his watery grave, yet again. Sometime after that, two guards are fucking around outside with Jason's mask when he actually shows up and slaughters the shit out of them. Jason then encounters the Black Ops team, who he takes out one by one. So much for all that shit they were talking. Oh, the best of the best? Yeah, not really. Jason then moves on to the soldiers, who also don't stand a chance. And yes, the scientist too. He pretty much kills everyone. Julian, the janitor, is attempting to get Duke out of his cell when Jason just walks up and rips his face off. I think this is the start of Duke's obsession with Jason that we see in Jason Goes to Hell. Anyway, as the girls are locked with the general and the colonel, Jason barges in and kills the colonel, and then rips some dude's hand off. Man, this one's really not skipping on the gore, that's for sure. He approaches the general and rips his other eye out, and then kills the scientist. Like I said, basically everyone dies. Ultimately, Rose and Tina join up to have another telekinesis fight against good old Jason. And then all of a sudden, what the hell is he doing here? Did Rose, summon him somehow? As soon as the two of them start fighting, though, Rose teleports them elsewhere. Well, that was fucking crazy. So she can, teleport people around, I guess? We come back to present day, where another scientist is mocking Tina, and then Jason appears behind them. Tina has yet another telekinesis fight and kicks his ass. But I'm not really sure what's happening here. She sends him, to the nether realm or something, I guess? And then, Nick shows up and they reunite happily. The end. So, I thought it was a pretty cool continuation of Part 7. It was put together really well, and the characters were developed good too. I like how Jason showed up and just wrecked everyone. But what the hell was going on with the whole Michael Myers thing at the end? Why? Like, just why? Anyway, guys, if you want to check it out for yourself, head on over to Peter Anthony Productions' YouTube page. Alrighty, this has been another episode of Fan Film Friday. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. What's up, guys? Today, for Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at Halloween, The Blackest Eyes by James Grimm and GRIMNOX Productions. If you haven't heard of him, head on over to his YouTube page and check him on out. He does all kind of other fan films as well. And while you're there, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, so, after opening credits, the film opens up on Halloween Day 2019 in Haddonfield. We are introduced to a guy in a room full of Halloween merch who seems to be writing a script or a book of some kind. He gets a call from his friend saying that he wants to hang out, and the writer states that his family is staying with his grandma. So then, the two friends meet up and are hanging out having a beer. His friend's talking about how his girlfriend left but isn't taking their son with her. Then, they start watching Halloween 3. So here's where I get confused. Obviously, they break the fourth wall by being in Haddonfield, but by having all the Halloween and Michael Myers merch all over the place. So, what does that mean? Did Michael, kill people in this version of Haddonfield a long time ago, or is it supposed to be based in the real world, but Michael comes out of the movie or something? Then, they start talking about how Michael Myers escaped from Smith's Grove the previous night. Oh, okay, so he does exist. We get a quick cut to Michael opening the writer's display case and choosing a mask, because he just automatically found their location. Michael then kills a dog and heads into the writer's house. Oh, of course he does. And then they're like, oh wait, we didn't lock the door. Oh, of course you didn't. The two of them go to investigate the room the mask was stolen from, which actually looks like he just set up a storage garage, but I don't know. They find the dog's collar covered in blood, and then there's a knock at the door. Who could it be? At first it appears that there's no one there, but it's just trick-or-treaters. The two guys decide to finally close the garage door, which has been open all night, and they head inside. But don't worry, Michael's not too far away. The writer goes out to the garage again and, surprise, motherfucker! Here we get a montage of Michael doing some fuckery to the writer. Meanwhile, the friend grabs a knife and starts looking around the house. Michael chases him to the garage, and he gets away and runs to his car, where he finds the writer dead in the back seat. The friend drives away, leaving Michael behind at the house, and the end. Well, I thought it was a good one. I know James faced a lot of issues with this one, like his crew pretty much up and left during filming, but he stuck with it and pulled through. Just him and his friend, and look, it worked out. I mean, I've made many films like this, just with one other person, so I totally get it. Anyway, great job, guys. If you want to see this one for yourself, head on over to James Grimm's YouTube channel. Alright guys, that does it for this episode of Fan Film Friday. If you like the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. What's up, guys? On this episode of Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at Myers, The Curse of Haddonfield by Blinky Productions. Blinky Productions is a company that does all sorts of awesome short films. They do ones on Freddy, Michael Myers, and many others. So, go on over to their YouTube channel and check them out. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, on to the film. So the film opens up with Laurie shooting Michael in a flashback. Then, she's standing in front of the Myers house sometime later. She's suddenly joined by Officer Hawkins, who comments on how well the house looks after it's been remodeled. But she doesn't seem too thrilled to see him, and starts to argue about how he let Michael live. I'm assuming this is going off the story from Halloween Kills, where Hawkins didn't kill Michael back in '78. Anyway, they go back and forth for a while, with Laurie saying that Hawkins has no idea how she feels after her friends were killed. He tries to sympathize with her, but yeah, she's not having it. Later that night, she goes to Annie's grave. She says how she wishes she could have believed Tommy about the boogeyman being outside, and then boom, Michael appears. Well, not appears like teleports, but yeah, you know what I mean. She starts to run from him and then stops suddenly, picking up a rock. What are you gonna do, like whack him in the head? They engage in mortal combat for a bit, and then Hawkins shows up and shoots him. Laurie pleads with him to shoot him again, but Hawkins does the whole one shot and he's dead routine. Oh look, he's not. Michael stabs Hawkins and goes back after Laurie. She picks up Hawkins' gun and shoots him a few more times. Oh wait, this is the flashback from the beginning. Michael then springs up and stabs her. Oh wait, it was just a dream. Or was it? The end. Well, you know what? It was a short one, but it was still good. I like the cinematography. They did really well with the lighting and the atmosphere. It really did feel like it could have been in the 70s. Also, Michael looked great. Laurie was cool, but I didn't really get a Jamie Lee vibe off the actress. I'm not saying she was bad. She did really awesome. But she didn't really seem shy and coy like Laurie was. All in all, great job, guys. So this is one of many Michael films from Blinky. As I said, they do a lot of different ones. However, I'm not sure if they're in any kind of order or if they're just like random. With that being said, go on over and check it out for yourself. This has been another episode of Fan Film Friday. If you guys enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. On this episode of Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at Just Another Friday by Batjax Productions. If you haven't heard of them, they're a production company who make a lot of other fan films and podcasts. So head on over to their page and check it out. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, so the film starts off with two guys walking through the woods. One of them says not to worry about monsters in the woods, and then finds Jason's mask laying on the ground. All of a sudden, he finds his buddy dead and then gets pursued by Jason, tripping over tree branches, much like the girls in previous films. And yeah, dead. We get a main title drop and then are introduced to this guy, who I assume is a counselor at Crystal Lake. All of a sudden, an SUV pulls up and like 15 people get out of it, clown car style. The counselor lets his buddy and friends stay there for the weekend, unbeknownst to the counselor's boss. Out in the woods, they run into another friend of theirs named Mike, who's acting quite shady and carrying around a large machete. He claims that he's out looking for whoever killed two of his friends from the beginning of the movie. Oh, and look who else showed up. Then, there's a montage of them living it up and enjoying the weekend when Jason walks up behind one of them and, yeah. Two of the kids are playing basketball when, oh, right in the nuts. Wait a minute, why the hell are his pants down? Meanwhile, Mike is still out looking for clues for who killed his friends. That night, they all sit around the fire and learn the story of Jason, but they refer to him as an entity, while he's literally standing in the distance. One douchey kid named Matt scares them all wearing a ghost face mask, and then everyone leaves. Matt goes inside to get snacks, where he's greeted by Jason. After another one of the group gets taken out, this guy, named AJ, goes looking for them. He, of course, gets taken out not too long after, and the two girls are left. They suspect Mike to be the killer. Well, yeah, rightfully so, he's kinda sketch. Just then, Jason shows up and stalks the two girls who have locked themselves in the main office. And suddenly, the power gets cut. Holy shit, then he just appears inside, tosses one girl to the side, and then Sparta kicks the other. Jason's going straight 300 style here. By the way, this next part has a strobe effect, so seizure warning. So he kills the one girl, and then the other one, Sam, runs, meeting up with Mike, who then tries to prove his innocence just as Jason attacks them. Mike fights Jason in the hallway, and it's pretty brutal. Ultimately, Jason wins, and then Sam shows up with a gun. When she goes to shoot, though, it isn't loaded, and AJ comes back from the dead to save the day, but he gets stabbed. Sam shoots Jason in the head, which has little effect, and he goes right back to pursuing her, ending with her about to run him down, GTA style. But then she decides to turn around and leave instead. Alright, I respect it. Until he catches up to you and kills you anyway. The end. Alright, well, I like the plot. The counselor letting his buddies use the camp for the weekend, only to get systematically killed one by one. Anyway, it all came down to that final girl, Sam, who chose not to run that motherfucker over. Good film, guys. You did a great job. If you want to see this one for yourself, head on over to Batjax Productions' YouTube page and take a look. Alright, this has been another episode of Fan Film Friday. If you like the content, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And of course, I'll see you on the next one. On this spooky Halloween episode of Fan Film Friday, I'll be dissecting my own film, Michael. This is one that my friends and I made back in 2017, so let's take a look. The film starts off with opening credits where a guy is getting pulled over by a sheriff's deputy, when all of a sudden, Michael shows up and grabs the deputy, allowing the guy to escape. We then see someone stalking through a house and grabbing a knife, but it turns out to be Steve, the main character of the story. He's carving a pumpkin with his friends when Michael suddenly appears, but Steve seems to be imagining it. One of his friends, Dan, jokes with him about seeing his dead brother again, who we then learn is Michael. And as he takes the trash out, Michael actually does appear and follows him. After that, his friends make a plan to go to the woods for the night to help Steve get his mind off his brother. And of course, they do a few shots on the way. Once they get there, Steve and Dan find an abandoned shack in the middle of the woods, because that's always a good thing. Meanwhile, Steve's girlfriend Melissa and his other friend Greenberg are waiting to hear back from them. Greenberg gives a little backstory as to who Michael Myers is. And when they take too long to get back, Melissa decides to go looking for them on her own, leaving Greenberg by himself. Of course, this is where the Shape arrives and kills Greenberg. Back at the shack, Dan is attacked by Michael and ends up fighting him and Steve. Michael gets the best of Dan and Chris tries to escape when suddenly, the guy from the beginning shows up and tackles Michael through a wall. Which honestly was the most fun scene to film. The guy ends up being their other friend Matt, who was supposed to meet them there all along. As they go to leave, Michael grabs Matt and yanks him back to the shack where he kills him. Steve finds Melissa in the woods and tells her what happened, saying that they need to get out of there right away, just as Michael catches up to them and stabs Steve. Melissa runs in and finds their car, and she tries to drive away, but apparently is killed as well. Following that, Steve is somehow still alive and finds Melissa dead, vowing to now go after Michael to stop him once and for all. After wandering around in the woods for a bit, the two come face to face and fight, with Steve ultimately getting stabbed in the chest. Then, Michael just walks away into the night. After the credits, we get a scene of a camper running from Michael, but he falls down, revealing that he was actually being chased by Jason. All of a sudden, Michael shows up and kills the camper, putting the two killers on a collision course. The end. Well, I'm not very good at critiquing my own movie, but I hope it was pretty good. I thought having Steve as the brother of Michael would take the story in a whole new direction. And no, Steve isn't a real person or canon to the theatrical films at all. But I did leave the Laurie Strode storyline canon, as it happened way before the movie took place. And the idea was to have the group go to Crystal Lake and eventually have Michael fight Jason in a sequel. This was pretty much an idea I came up with in high school, back when the script was titled Halloween 13. I just took elements of the old script and rewrote it as Michael. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and please take a look at the full film. The link is in the description box below. Well, that does it for this episode of Fan Film Friday. Thanks for watching, guys, and happy Halloween.
A countrywide manhunt has begun for Michael Myers, an escaped patient from Smith's Grove who was discovered missing earlier this evening. Myers is dangerous, and any sightings need to be reported directly to police. Sheriff's office has put a curfew into effect immediately, and it may cut the night short for some trick-or-treaters. We will keep you posted on any updates, and we advise that you stay in your homes until further notice.
What's up, guys? On this episode of Fan Film Friday, I'm taking a look at Friday the 13th Part 10, To Hell and Back, by Dapper Cat Pictures. If you aren't familiar with them, they have a pretty awesome YouTube channel, so go on over and check them out. And while you're there, don't forget to like, and subscribe. And now, onto the film. This one takes place sometime after Jason Goes to Hell. The film starts off with a paranoid girl walking down the road. We then jump to one day earlier. We see this sheriff's deputy walking around eating a Slim Jim and randomly petting a cat. He's just wandering around for some reason. And then we meet a group of teens driving through town with one of the teens' grandmas, and they arrive at a cabin. And then, two deputies are having lunch. One of them tells the mustachioed deputy that he's going to check out the old camp to see what's going on over there. Obviously, he's talking about Crystal Lake. The mustachioed deputy tells him to watch out for Jason. And then back to the group of teens. They're staying at their friend's cabin while he's away. Two of the kids go walking by the lake where they run into the deputy from earlier, who asks them if they're checking out the camp. They say no and wander back into the woods. The others find a diary written by Pamela, Jason's mother, and start to read from it. She mentions in the diary that Jason died a long time ago. In the next part, I'm pretty iffy about. So then, one of them dresses in a black robe and reads from the book some kind of inscription that resurrects Jason, while the others are bowing and chanting. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Like, why would you want to resurrect him? So the kid in the cloak goes into the woods, and, yeah, his friends go to look for him and find him dead, pinned to a tree. And Jason's back. He drowns one of the kids and smashes the other kid's head with a rock. Then, a deputy shows up and arrests one of the teens as they get attacked by Jason. The deputy disappears into the woods as Jason chases the teen, and, yep, he's dead too. After that, we're introduced to a drunk guy who tries to run from a deputy. He's kind of like a Crazy Ralph character. As that's going on, the group of teens are back at the cabin where one of the kids' brothers shows up, coming back from the military. The brother's friend goes snooping around outside, and can you guess what happens next? Alright, a little night swim action. How? How did she not see him get in? Really? The group orders a couple pizzas and then... Ah, man, the pizza boy? Damn, Jason isn't messing around. He even kills this kid, just wrecking everyone. I feel like this chick gets it the worst, really, though. A power drill? Damn. Following the crazy slaughter fest, the backwards hat bro finds everyone dead. He tells the soldier about it and they try to call for help, but Jason cuts the power. He walks into the house and takes care of the backwards hat bro. And all of a sudden, the mustachioed deputy shows up at the cabin. A little late to the party, man. Come on. The deputy's partner runs into the girl, who's the last survivor at this point. Aw, the deputy gave her his jacket. That's cute. And then, Jason tries to kill them. He almost kills the deputy, but the girl intervenes and stabs him. And then she smashes a glass frame over his head, WWF style. The deputy fights Jason hand to hand and tries to take him out boxing. But when that doesn't work, he just blows Jason up with a grenade, killing himself in the process. The next day, we see the scene from the beginning with the girl walking down the road, just looking defeated. The mustachioed deputy is checking out the area by the cabin when he finds the remains from the explosion. And all of a sudden, he starts acting strangely while looking at the mask. He puts the mask on and... Alrighty. Yep, he just starts screaming and falls into the lake. Great. He emerges, now possessed by Jason, and kills a kid walking around the woods. He chops him with an axe, over and over and over, literally like at least 50 times. The end. Well, what can I say about this one? I mean, there was a lot of flannel, that's for sure. Honestly, for it being filmed in the mid-90s, it was pretty good. The plot continued the story of Jason Goes to Hell, with Jason getting resurrected and attacking another group of teens at the camp. I am kind of surprised the main girl got away, though. And how about that explosion? That was a pretty cool effect, and it was brutal. Anyway, Jason looked really good, and whoever played him did a great job. The one thing I was questioning was the possession route. I mean, that was a big part of, Jason Goes to Hell, but yeah, I don't know. If you want to see this one for yourself, head on over to Dapper Cat Pictures' YouTube channel, or just check the link in the description box below. This has been another episode of Fan Film Friday. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. On the season finale of Fan Film Friday for 2022, I'm taking a look at Sam Hain by Retro Studios. If you haven't heard of them, they make a lot of Michael Myers content on their channel. Head on over there and check them out, and while you're there, be sure to like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. So the film starts off on Halloween 2020. Kids are leaving an elementary school for the day. It seems like they're siblings and they're headed home. Wait a minute, what the hell's that? No, I'm kidding. It happens sometimes. You know, you're filming at sunset, and you stand in the way of the sun, and whatever. Anyway, so the younger kid lags behind and sees Michael lingering behind a tree across the street. Normally, I think you would run, but they decide to go over and check it out for whatever reason. I mean, if I saw Michael across the street, I'd be like, nope. Actually, no, I take that back. I'd probably be like, hey man, what's up? But then again, they're kids, so they don't know who he is anyway. So yeah, when they get across the street, he's gone. Typical Michael stuff. Then, we see a guy driving a truck through town. He's on the phone with the sheriff, trying to convince him that Michael is still alive. After that, the kids decide to take a shortcut through a cemetery, and they're not alone. Then, we're introduced to this lady who gets a call from someone named Susan. And judging off the framed picture of Josh Hartnett, I would assume she's either John Tate's daughter, or maybe his wife. I'm pretty sure that's his wife. She mentions that John killed himself a year ago, and then these kids show up to the house, which means I guess John Tate is their dad. Later on, one of them is drawing Michael for some reason. The kids go out trick-or-treating as John's wife stays home and mourns him while drinking wine. Meanwhile, the guy in the truck is still driving around. After the kids leave one of the houses, Michael shows up and kills the homeowner. The guy in the truck, who I'm assuming is Tommy Doyle, based off the opening credits, sees Michael and goes after him. Tommy confronts Michael, only to learn that it's just a kid in a costume. Of course it is. John's wife finds the drawing of Michael and then hears something outside. So what does she do? Well, she goes and checks it out, of course. At first, it seems like no one's out there, but Michael just slinks in undetected. As she's wandering around the house looking for him, Michael jumps out, and they end up stabbing each other. Then she... Wait a minute, is that a Christmas tree? I thought this was Halloween. Michael does like this really weird walk, and then goes after the wife. She ends up luring him out to a balcony where she shoots him and he falls off. And by the way, where the hell did she get a rifle from? After this, Tommy runs inside and explains that Michael is after her because she was married to John Tate. Which is kind of like a gray area. I mean, he goes after family. I guess John Tate was, his nephew. But this chick's just, associated through marriage, and she's not blood. So, that whole curse thing doesn't really work with this. But, anyway, they devise a plan with her leaving and him staying behind in the house to wait for Michael. So Tommy goes upstairs and looks around, and suddenly, Michael attacks him. Tommy gets away by knocking Michael out. Well, kind of. Then, the fight leads into the garage. Michael stabs Tommy, but then he hits him with a piece of wood. And after that, he electrocutes him. Oh my god, look at the way he fell. Really? Wow, come on. After that, Tommy lays down next to Michael and drinks out of his flask until the cops show up. The end. Well, Michael was done pretty good. Could have been a bit taller, but the plot was good. I will say that. I would have liked to have seen more kills, though. All in all, it was a pretty decent movie. If you guys want to see this one for yourself, head on over to Retro Studios on YouTube and check them out. Alright guys, this has been the final episode of Fan Film Friday for 2022. If you like the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, of course, I'll see you next year.